Hello, welcome to the Security Updates with me, Hamse Daabjeerin. In this program, we will be covering for you the latest stories that matter security in the African countries from West to Horn of Africa. Ahead on the program, Somalia Deputy Prime Minister traveled to Hague to attend ICJ maritime hearing proceedings. Djibouti President calls on leaders of Somalia and Kenya to restore diplomatic relations. Human Rights Watch confirms Eritrean soldiers killed hundreds of civilians in Tigray. Puntland leader threatens retaliation over Bosasa prison attack. Plus, US President halts drone strike in some countries, including Somalia. Welcome to the program. The Deputy Prime Minister of Somalia traveled to Hague to attend the International Court of Justice proceedings on maritime issues between Somalia and Kenya, which is scheduled to start on 15th March.
دولة فدرالك الصومالية هي دلك كينيا دعوتها صمراحيل كل الدول صومرتين إلى الله بكون يافر طبعا.
Mahdi Guled, the Deputy Prime Minister of Somalia, and a delegation have traveled to Hague ahead of the hearing proceedings on maritime dispute between Somalia and Kenya at the International Court of Justice. Addressing the media before his departure, he promised that his team of legal advisors will defend and struggle for the rights of Somalia as well as its people. Somalia and Kenya are seeking a resolution on the ownership of around 150,000 square kilometer area of the Indian Ocean coastline, which both countries want to explore for oil, gas and fish. The International Court of Justice announced it will start hearing of the maritime dispute between Somalia and Kenya on 15th March. Though the ICJ has ceased holding physical hearings amid the pandemic, it has been conducting its hearings virtually, utilizing the No Problem Zoom platform. The court said has already explained it to the two parts during a technical meeting on January 26th. There is a possibility for a limited number of representatives of the parts to appear in person in the Great Hall of the court. Recently, the International Court of Justice rejected Kenya's request to have its maritime dispute with Somalia postponed for a fourth time. Though Kenya had expressed its extreme discomfort, the court did not consider its request. Djibouti has urged the leaders of Somalia and Kenya to restore diplomatic relations and should end their differences through dialogue. The two Horn of African nations have been in political tension since last year. Djibouti President Ismail Omar Guelleh has called on the leaders of Somalia and Kenya to bring back diplomatic relations between the two countries, as well as finish their differences through dialogue. Ismail Omar Guelleh stated that the neighboring countries should end their differences at the negotiation table, and it is obligatory upon both sides to mend their relationship, respect each other, and to work. He highlighted that the two people are interdependent and the only solution is necessary for the story relationship. On several occasions, Somalia had previously accused Kenya for orchestrating militias in Somalia, though Kenya denied the allegation. A report by the Intergovernmental Authority on Development (IGAD), an 8-country trade bloc in Africa comprising governments from the Horn of Africa, Nile Valley and the African Great Lakes, said a team that investigated the issue also found that Kenya was not arming militia to attack and destabilize areas in Somalia along the shared border. In January, Somalia government criticized the findings of a fact-finding commission-led Djibouti government, which stated that it found no evidence showing that Kenya was interfering in Somalia's affairs. Elaborating on allegations that the Djibouti-led fact-finding committee sided with Kenya, President Ismail Omar Guelleh said that the findings of the committee is not yet officially disclosed, but preliminary reports could not determine the final report. Al-Shabaab claims its fighters have released 400 inmates during complex attack on Bosasa Central Prison, which left 8 security officials dead last Friday.
At least 8 people died after Al-Shabaab staged an overnight prison break in northern Somalia, police said on Friday. Scores of prisoners, including suspected Al-Shabaab members, escaped during the attack, according to a police account. It was said that some of the prisoners who escaped during the midnight attack were rearrested by Puntland security forces. The attack began with a large explosion, after which Heavily armed fighters stormed the prison in the port city of Bosaso in Portland around midnight, a police officer said. Although there has been no official statements on the exact inmate freed from the federal government, Al-Shabaab fighters have claimed responsibility for the attack and comment to a radio station, Andalus, saying it helped 400 prisoners to escape.
Puntland state leader speaking to the press in the coastal town of Bosaso confirmed the region is on high alert following Bosaso's prison attack, which Al-Shabaab claimed the responsibility of the attack.
waxaan u cadeynayaa bulshada reer Puntland iyo bulshada Soomaaliyeed inay Puntland ay ku jirto heegan buuxa ficilkaasna ay ka falcelinayso sida ugu quruxda badan oo ugu haboon.
Saeed Abdullahi Dani, the Puntland state leader of Somalia, has spoken about the attack on Bosaso main prison. He said that they will retaliate against those attacked in the prison and the region is already on high alert. The leader has urged the residents to work closely with the security forces in order to prevent further terrorist attacks, as well as to weaken their enemies. Saeed Abdullahi Dani extended congratulations to the security officers who were on duty by the time the incident happened for their immediate response. Al-Shabaab fighters claimed responsibility for attacking Bosaso Central Prison in Somalia's semi-autonomous northern region of Puntland. Somalia officials have not yet given a precise number of militants freed in the prison break, but Al-Shabaab has claimed it liberated more than 400 inmates. Al-Shabaab said that many of the prisoners were members of the movement and some had been imprisoned for more than 10 years. President Joe Biden has suspended drone strikes outside of war zones where U.S. forces are operating, reversing the policy of his predecessor, Donald Trump, who had given the military free rein in countries such as Somalia. The U.S. President Joe Biden has halted drone strikes in some countries, which Somalia is among them. He described the measure as interim guidance that was issued to ensure that the president has full visibility on proposing significant actions. These new guidelines had been secretly passed on to military commanders after Biden came to office on January 20th, but were only revealed in recent days. From his first days in White House in 2016, Trump had rolled back the controls put in place by his predecessor, Barack Obama, on armed against jihadist groups, saying he trusted the commanders on the ground. Drone strikes quickly multiplied after that, becoming the only form of operations in some countries where only a handful of U.S. special forces were deployed in support of local governments, such as in Somalia, where the U.S. has been battling the Al-Shabaab fighters. In a first public report on the U.S. military operation in Somalia published in February, the Pentagon's acting Inspector General Glenn Fine recalled that part of AFRICOM's stated mission is to ensure that by 2021, Shabaab in Somalia and other groups have been sufficiently degraded, such as that they cannot cause significant harm to U.S. interests. At least 20 people were killed and 30 others wounded after suicide bombing hit a PC restaurant near Seaport in Mogadishu on Friday. But we will be back after the short break.
Hello out there. Tune in to CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. There's so many people around the world who are watching along with you.
Welcome to CBA, Somaliland's only bilingual TV station, where professionalism and expertise come together to bring you real news in real time.
This is CBA TV special program. My name is Ajara Ahmed Tijani.
My name is Balogun Shekola Aziz, your regular host on that your lovely program, Talk to CBA.
Welcome to the Security Update with me, Hamse Daabjeerin.
From East to West Africa and beyond, CBA TV got you covered on news and current affairs. Reporting from Nigeria, Kamil Sadiq, CBA TV.
You're watching us live from our headquarters in Hargeisa, and this is CBA Sports with me, Abdiaziz Guled.
This is Young Afrique on CBA TV with me, Prince Hamse Mohammed.
Welcome to a new episode of our show Islamic Context. This is me, Hamse Daabjeerin.
My name is Amina Hinda, and you're tuned into CBA TV.
At least 20 people were killed and 30 others wounded after a suicide bombing hit a busy restaurant near seaport in Mogadishu on Friday evening, according to media sources. The blast sent plumes of smoke into the sky and triggered gunfire.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the recent deadly terrorist attack that took place in Mogadishu, Somalia. At least 20 people were killed and 30 others wounded after a car bomb ripped through a popular restaurant in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu late on Friday. He extended his profound condolences to the families of the victims and wishes a swift recovery to those injured. He calls for the perpetrators of the attack to be brought to justice as soon as possible. The Secretary General reiterates the full support of the United Nations with the government and the people of Somalia in the face of such crime. He went on to say that indiscriminate violence and attacks will not deter the good people of Somalia in their pursuit of peace, stability and prosperity. The deadly attacks comes amid an already tense security situation in Mogadishu over political uncertainty in the capital. Somali President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo's term expired on February 8, though no elections have been held to determine his replacement.
The African Union has reiterated its readiness to support Somalia on security matters. This comes a day after a car bomb hit a restaurant in Mogadishu, which claimed the lives of at least 20 people. The African Union has accentuated that it will remain committed to working with the federal government and people of Somalia in terms of strengthening security in the country. Musa Faki, the chairman of the AU, has urged the international community to provide appropriate support to Somalia's security forces and AMISOM to consolidate security gains in the country. This comes a day after a car bomb hit a restaurant in Mogadishu, where at least 20 people have been confirmed dead, and the chairman of the AU has strongly condemned the attack against civilians. He also extended condolences to the families and the government of the Federal Republic of Somalia and wished a quick recovery to the injured in the blast. AU has thousands of troops in Somalia to support the government to defeat Al-Shabaab fighters in southern and central Somalia. African Union mission in Somalia was withdrawn. Its troops from Somalia late February, but its mandate was extended by 2 weeks from end of February to March 14th, following a unanimous decision reached last Thursday by the United Nations Security Council. Human Rights Watch said Eritrean forces shot dead hundreds of children and civilians in November massacre in neighboring Ethiopia's war hit Tigray region.
3 council diplomats said Ireland, which drafted the statement, decided not to push for approval after objections from the 3 countries. The press statement will have been the first by the UN's most powerful body on the Tigray crisis, which is entering its 4th month. Fierce fighting reportedly continues between Ethiopian and allied forces and those supporting the now fugitive Tigray leaders who once dominated Ethiopia's government. An alarm is growing over the fate of Tigray's 6 million people. No one knows how many thousands of civilians have been killed. On Tuesday, United Nations Humanitarian Chief Mark Lowcock warned that a campaign of destruction is taking place, saying at least 4.5 million people need assistance and demanding that forces from neighboring Eritrea accused of committing atrocities in Tigray leave Ethiopia. The proposed statement made no mention of foreign forces or sanctions, 2 key issues, but it called for an end to violence in Tigray. The draft statement also noted with concern the humanitarian situation in Tigray, where millions of people remain in need of humanitarian assistance, and the challenge of access for aid workers. It called for the full and early implementation of the Ethiopian government's statement on February 26 and March 3rd, committing a medical clinic that was looted and vandalized in Zana is seen in Tigray region of northern Ethiopia on Tuesday, February 9, 2021. The United Nations, in its latest humanitarian report on the situation in Tigray, says the humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate as fighting intensifies across the northern region. Council diplomat speaking on condition of anonymity because consultations were private said China wanted the statement to focus only on the humanitarian situation with no reference to the violence in Tigray. India only wanted a minor change and Russia reportedly supported its ally China at the last minute, the diplomat said. Account of a massacre of several hundred people by Eritrean soldiers in the holy city of Axum in Tigray have been detailed in reports by the Associated Press and then by Amnesty International. Federal governments and regional officials in Tigray both believe that each other's governments are illegitimate after election disrupted by COVID-19 pandemic. Human Rights Watch echoed the report on Friday, saying Eritrean armed forces massacre scores of civilians, including children, as young as 13 in the historic town of Axum in Tigray in November 2020. It called on the United Nations to urgently establish an independent inquiry into war crimes and possible crimes against humanity in Tigray.
The lingering clashes in Senegal's capital, Dakar, with hundreds of demonstrators calling for the release of Senegal opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, who has been ordered held in custody at a court hearing, claims more lives.
His arrest 2 days ago sparked the country's worst violence in years. In Dakar's working-class district of Medina, hundreds of young people fought running street battles with riot police and smoke rose from burning tires at makeshift barricades in the capital city. Protesters chanted, "Free Sonko." On the main Blaise Diagne Avenue, the ground streamed with stones, granites, cartridges and burning debris. In Mbao, in the city's outer suburbs, looters also ransacked a French chain Auchan supermarket. The claim says at least 14 stores have been attacked during this week's unrest. The arrest of Sonko, popular with young people and seen as a key challenger to President Macky Sall, has sparked the worst unrest in years in a West African state after heralded as a beacon of stability. A number of people have been killed in protest, shops attacks and cars torched on the streets of Dakar since Sonko was first arrested on Wednesday. His supporters had called for further protest to coincide with his hearing before a judge on Friday on charges of disturbing order. Sonko has been returned to custody over the matter of disturbing public order, Attorney Etienne Ndione told reporters after the hearing. Clashes broke out on Wednesday between Sonko's supporters and police as he made his way to court for another case where he faces rape allegations that he denies. Sonko was then arrested on charges of disturbing public order, a development that sparked angry protests in the capital and other cities. The custody order issued on Friday, which relates specifically to the public order case, expires on Sunday. He was not charged on Friday in the rape case and returns to court on Monday for questioning over those accusations, his lawyer said.
President Muhammadu Buhari has told the newly appointed service chiefs to deliver on their mandate to guarantee security, especially before the start of the rainy season, to enable farmers to go back to their farms.
During our 4-hour security meeting,
President Muhammadu Buhari has told the newly appointed service chiefs to deliver on their mandate to guarantee security, especially before the start of the rainy season, to enable farmers go back to their farms. President Buhari said this while decorating the new service chiefs with their ranks at the State House, Abuja, Nigeria's capital. He decorated the new Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Irabo, as a full general. Others decorated are Ibrahim Atahiru, the Chief of Army Staff, as Lieutenant General, Chief of Naval Staff Awal Gambo as Vice Admiral, and Isiaka Amo, the Chief of Air Staff, as Air Marshal. He charged them to speed up their actions in freeing the country from the current state of insecurity.
I have taken the responsibility as Commander-in-Chief for you to go out into the field and secure the country. I have accepted responsibility for your actions in the field. It's up to you to identify your competent officers, irrespective of seniority and paper qualification, and deploy them to make sure that we secure this country.
Buhari, who told the service chiefs to see their appointment, clearance and decoration as a vote of confidence on them, gave an assurance of his support as they delivered on their responsibilities. Responding on behalf of other service chiefs, Mr. Irabo assured the president that they would not fail in their responsibilities as the mandate was clear. The new service chiefs have before them the task of fighting insurgency, kidnapping, banditry, and among others. Kamil Sadiq, CBA TV, Nigeria.
An attempt to get a UN Security Council approval for a statement calling for an end to violence in Ethiopia's partly Tigray region and to spotlight the millions in need of humanitarian assistance was dropped Friday night after objections from India, Russia, and especially China.
An Amnesty International investigation into the same event detailed how Eritrean troops went on a rampage and systemically killed hundreds of civilians in cold blood. The findings from the rights watchdog come as a global concern mounts over atrocities by Eritrean troops in Tigray. United Nations leaders on Thursday accused the Eritreans of possible crimes against humanity and urged them to pull out.
We urge the Ethiopian government to support an immediate end to the fighting in Tigray. And to that end, the prompt withdrawal of Eritrean forces and Amhara regional forces from Tigray are essential steps.
Addis Ababa and Asmara deny Eritrea is actively involved in Tigray. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced military operations against the leadership of Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, Tigray's then ruling party, in early November, saying they came in response to TPLF attacks on federal army camps. Ethiopian and Eritrean forces enter Axum on November 20 after indiscriminate shelling that killed civilians, said the HRM report published on Friday. The Eritreans then engaged in widespread pillaging as Ethiopian troops mostly looked on, the report said. The massacre began on November 28 after Tigrayan militia members, joined by some residents, attacked Eritrean soldiers, HRW said. After calling in reinforcements, the Eritrean began moving through the town, going house to house, searching for young men and boys and executing them. An attempt to get United Nations Security Council approval for a statement calling for an end to violence in Tigray and to spotlight the millions in need of humanitarian assistance was dropped on Friday night after objection from India, Russia, and especially China. United Nations diplomats said, three council diplomats said Ireland, which drafted the statement, decided not to push for approval after objections from three countries. The press statement will have been the first by the UN's most powerful body on the Tigray crisis, which is entering its fourth month. On Tuesday, United Nations humanitarian chief Mark Lowcock warned that a campaign of destruction is taking place, saying at least 4.5 million people need assistance and demanding that Eritrean forces leave Ethiopia.
And with that report of the UN Security Council approval for a statement calling for an end to violence in Ethiopia's partly Tigray region and to spotlight the millions in need of humanitarian assistance, we'll wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Hamse Daabjeerin.